Yes, yes, we're back. The NFL weeks hit us thick and fast these days, but we're here to call every spread of week 10. I'm joined once again by Mike for the spreads of this week. And Mike, almost at 54% on the year now, just a touch under 53.98% after a promising week last week. 9 games called of 15. So congrats to you again.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's better than I thought I did. So,
Mm.
um, very pleased with that. We'll try and keep that rolling into week 10 here. Is it week 10? Yeah, you said week 10.
Yeah, it is.
Look,
Yeah.
I start to lose
Uh,
count this time of year.
Oh no, it's crazy. And yeah, I'm down at 50, well, 47%. So I seem to have big spikes where I pick a lot in some weeks, but then just do terribly in others. So that's how my year's going. And yeah, off to a bad start for me last night. A red differ for us on Thursday night. I don't know if you can bring the game stats up there, Mike, and what we had, but it was a differ. I took the Baltimore Ravens to cover at home and the Bengals went in there and almost got the win in the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, I took the Bengals, as you say. We differed on that one. I just thought it was a touch much for me. 6 points, I think the Ravens were favored by.
Mm.
And I just haven't been impressed enough by their defense. I think we covered that on last week's pod. So yeah, I thought the Bengals had a fighting chance, and they did. Went for two at the end there, which I think was the right call. You got to go in there, and they've got to make up games on the Ravens. You got to go and try and win that game. You don't want to be faffing around in overtime. So I thought that was the right call. They just didn't come up with it.
Yeah, I thought it was. When we saw the Buccaneers choosing to tie the game against the Chiefs on Monday, and they just
Yeah,
never got the ball. So I do think it's going for two is the right call there.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I the Ravens have been absolutely stomping some people this year. They're just a really hard team to call because they'll come out and put points in bunches on people. But as you said there, it was probably shouldn't have trusted their defense as much as I did because Burrow ripped them apart. Playing very good football is the boy.
Yeah, they're an interesting team, the Ravens. They want to run the ball, and they can run the ball very effectively, but their defense is allowing sieving points at the moment. So
Mm.
they really need to throw the ball to stay in some of these games, which is causing them issues. So, yeah, tight game, but they just about prevailed the Ravens, as I said to you earlier. As we move on to the next game here, I would back a lot of AFC teams to take the Ravens down in the playoffs, which is in the Lamar Jackson era seems to be a bit of a trend, but we'll have to wait until the
Mhm.
playoff season for that.
Head to
So
Munich.
heading to Munchen for the first game of the slate, the last game of the international series, I believe. Giants at Panthers. One for the neutral there in Munich. Great game for all involved. What do you think it's your turn to? Is it my turn or your turn to go first? I can't remember.
I think it's me this week. Yeah, there might be bratwurst hailing from the stands if this game turns out the way we think it might be. It's just a shocking game there to give to the Germans, who very much enjoy their NFL. They must feel slighted by this one, but Giants come in as 6.5 point favorites. I'm going to take the Panthers here. I've got no reservations about taking the Panthers to cover in a neutral field game where you're not quite sure what's going to happen. The Panthers are just going to run the ball at Chuba Hubbard. They gave him a 4 year extension this week, I saw,
Wow.
which is interesting. They definitely think he's the guy there. And they have been running well with him. So I think they're going to play conservatively, but in a probably soggy and tight affair there. The weather pretty uh, grim in Munich from what I saw from some of the coverage you'll be doing out there. I think the Panthers just cover this one. I'm not sure they've got enough to win, but as we've said before, we really can't bat the Giants. And I don't think the Giants have covered in about 3 or 4 weeks now since they beat the Seahawks in that old game. So it's going to be a Panthers cover.
Yeah, great call by you. I'm going to go the same. Panthers to cover. Let's see here the headline: Lager, Lederhosen, and lots of build-up. Well, they'll be hoping for more Lederhosen than Lager, I imagine. So the players don't come in with too much of a hangover. But it's going to be it's at the Allianz Arena. It's a football pitch, so it's going to be pretty heavy going, I think, in the rain. That'll suit the team that can run it better, and that's the Panthers. And the Giants don't really have a running game to speak of other than Daniel Jones toting the rock. So yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers here too.
Yeah.
So then probably one of the games of the week. We got Steelers at
Ooh.
Commanders. Really, really interesting game here. I haven't seen the line, so let's go down. Washington come in as a 3-point favorite here.
I got 2.5 actually, so let's go with
Okay,
that.
so we'll go 2.5. Okay, we'll go 2.5 point favorite then for the Commanders. I'm going to take the Steelers here. Actually, I think the Commanders have played really well this season. They've defied a lot of the preseason negativity. Jaden Daniels playing out of his mind, absolute clear front runner for Rookie of the Year. I just think the Steelers are a really tough team to play for a young quarterback. Really good defense. They'll stodge this game up. They'll make it a really low scoring battle. And then, yeah, any Dan Quinn defense does always have the bit of a vulnerability between the tackles, and you'd expect the Steelers just to run the ball and try and throw on play action. I just think they win a low scoring affair here, the Steelers. So I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, good points made there. You almost swayed me, but I will differ here. I think the Steelers are better than the sum of their parts, but against an explosive offense like this, they might get found out. I know a lot of the talk is the Commanders haven't come up against elite defenses like this before, and that's true. But I was looking at a stat that said the Commanders off RPOs have had 200 more rushing yards than any other team in the NFL, which is quite enjoyable.
Wow.
So expect Kingsbury to start moving the line of scrimmage a little bit here and enforcing those defensive ends to play with a lot of integrity. So let's. I'm actually intrigued to see if the Steelers are up for this one. I think the Steelers have got more to prove here for me. So it's going to be a fun one, but I'm going to differ and take the Commanders. I've bet against them a few times and I've come up short, so I'm going to take them here.
Okay. Good differ there early.
Yeah,
Um, so this has worked out pretty well. You'll be picking this one first. Broncos at
excellent.
Chiefs. Classic AFC West divisional foes. Not a lot of love lost between these two teams. Tom, how do you see this one going?
Yeah, so I think we had a 7 point spread. Let me double check here. Yeah, oh, 7.5 actually.
7.5, I have too. Yeah.
It's a big spread. The Chiefs, as we've seen in the past few weeks, have not been covering these touchdown spreads. I was wondering if that is a trend that's going to continue, but also Bo Nix going up against Spags doesn't fill me with confidence as I have been riding the Broncos this year. I think I'm just going to take the Chiefs here. I think if this was in Denver, I'd be very inclined to take the Broncos, but Bo's coming to Arrowhead here. There's going to be a baptism of fire for him as he gets into his AFC West play. I just think the defense is going to get a few takeaways and just snuff this thing out. And I don't see the Broncos scoring more than 15 here. So Chiefs score 24, they win the game and cover the spread. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. D Hop looking very acclimatized nicely. He's
Yeah.
very good for the offense.
Yeah. I've been a bit dubious about that acquisition, but he came up big last week for the Chiefs. I'm taking the Chiefs here as well, I should say. The Broncos just feel like I'm still on Bo Nix watch every week.
Yeah,
Still making quite a few rookie mistakes. The kind of football they have to play to keep him sort of in rhythm and keep the offense in rhythm is just going to be tough to play on the road in Arrowhead, I think, in a divisional game. Yeah, they're not just going to be able to line up and run it and run the quarterback against the Chiefs. The Spags will have something for them. So, yeah, if he's dropping back 30 plus times, I just think, yeah, it leads to opportunities for interceptions and turnovers for the Chiefs. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs big here too. The Broncos doing better than I thought they would preseason. They were a darling of your preseason predictions, and they've looked up to it so far. So I think,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, they only need to win two more games for me to get that bet in. So it's looking quite good for me. The over under
future's
season.
bright, the future is orange. An old British commercial used to say, and Broncos
Yeah,
fans were hoping the same.
yeah.
Um,
Oh,
well,
that was excellent.
moment of inspiration for me there. Happens occasionally. Falcons at Saints. Oh, I mean, I'm still not. I know the Falcons look better, but I'm still not that high on them. But you've got to take
They've been covering though. They've been covering these spreads.
they have, and I think you've probably been profiting, whereas I've been missing out.
Yeah,
And there was that old adage we used to have every week where you don't like taking this against the Saints in the dome, but A lot of the
Yeah.
luster has gone from the Superdome these days. Jettison, their head coach this week. I think the Falcons could dismantle them a bit here, so I'm going to take the Falcons.
Oh, was Allen fired? I didn't even see
Yeah,
that.
he was. Yeah, he was.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Oh, well, I throw the spanner in the works here.
Oh, you think new
I'm,
coach back?
yeah. Ooh, 3.5 points in the Superdome. I think the New Orleans faithful might be up for this. They've wanted him gone for a while. A lot of those players were playing like they wanted to get him fired, to be honest. So I think in a fickle move here, I will take the Saints. Just just on that base, I was literally going to side with you until I heard Dennis Allen was out. So let's see. Sometimes it works in funny ways, do the spread. So go on then. Let's have a differ there.
Nice. Right. Well, we discussed this one pre-pod. It's baffled both
Ooh,
of us, I think. Must just be a lot of money going on the 49ers here because they open up an almost incredulous 6.5 point favorite here against an
yeah.
NFC rival this season. The Bucks have been playing very well. I'd expect them to make the playoffs, so quite a large line here. What do you foresee? What does your
Yeah.
crystal ball tell you here, Tom?
Yeah, maybe influenced by the Bucks. They've been a slippery streak lately, the Bucks, but they haven't been getting blown out. They've been in some tight games, evidenced by their good performance at Arrowhead, which I think both must pick the Chiefs there, actually. So McCaffrey's back for the Niners. It's a long trip for them, though. I feel like we're going to have an agreement here, but I am going to take the Bucks to cover this at home. I think that's been a really solid home ground for them this year. They get a lot of support there, and those fans are quite feverish in their support actually. So it's going to be tough for the Niners to go here. Good luck running the ball, as Shanahan will want to do against the Buccaneers front. The Chiefs struggled mightily with that. Kareem Hunt really had to power through for some extra yards on Monday. So I think they'll shut that down, and then let's see if Purdy throws a couple of picks. This could be a good night for Vienna. So Buccaneers for me.
Yeah, you've identified the probably the most interesting battle of the game, which will be Vita Vea and the Buccaneers' defensive line against a returning Christian McCaffrey. That'll be really interesting to watch. And to see if Purdy can thrive now that McCaffrey's back in the system. You'd expect Purdy to
Hmm.
have a bit taken off his plate, which probably will suit him because he's just turning it over a tick too much at the moment.
Yeah,
But I still think it's closer than the experts think here. I'm going to take the Buccaneers too.
nice. Yeah, very very solid agreement from us there.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Oh,
Bills
this is a fun one.
at Colts. Well, this headline here: the Colts never considered moving on from Anthony Richardson at the NFL trade deadline. My word.
Oh,
So sounds like Flacco is still in the building. He had a bit of a disaster last week, but he's still going to be starting this week. What is the
mhm.
line? The line is Buffalo is a 4 point favorite. Yeah, go on. Yeah, I'm all for that. I think the Bills, even though, a big home dog, you're always tempted to side with that. But as you pointed out last week, some of these NFL score lines are getting a bit more lopsided as we get into the season. And the Bills are just a much superior football team, I think, on the evidence so far. I was higher on the Colts than you were, and they kind of let me down, to be honest. I didn't foresee the backslide from Richardson that he's had. So I'm getting off the bandwagon here, and I'm going to take the Bills to come in and rout them in Indianapolis.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm just going through the previous weeks, and the Bills have only failed to cover twice as favorites this year, which probably came. I think one was in one of those two losses. So yeah, there is a trend here that tells you should take the Bills because they're not giving them enough points. Maybe the Bills feel slightly grieved by that because I do think it should be a bit more. Indianapolis probably put up more of a fight than I thought they would in Minnesota on that Sunday night game. Their
Mm-hmm.
run defense in particular was quite solid actually, but the secondary is a weakness for them. They're going to have Khalil Shakir et al. Running loose behind there, and yeah, that could spell big problems here for the Colts in that home, that dome field, I should say. So I'm going to agree with you. The Bills here, I don't think it's enough points for them.
Yeah, a rare opportunity for Josh Allen to throw indoors. I imagine
Yeah.
we'll be showing that arm off, which would be quite fun to see.
Oh yeah.
Um, right, the aforementioned Minnesota Vikings head to Duval County. What is the line here? We've
It's a
got
big one.
Nelly minus
Oh, Nelly.
-7. Whoa, 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 sweet child of mine, 7 points. Um,
Well,
well,
the, J-
is it
the
me or is
Jags covered
no? It's
last week against the Eagles.
they did, but well, is it you to go first?
That's me, yeah.
Yeah, go on, you go first, and
Um,
then I'll say my piece.
yeah, I mean, they covered against the Eagles in a very unlikely comeback. And as I said to you, they should have won that, really, the Jags. The Vikings going down to Florida. This is a really tough one. Just every time I count the Jags out, they always cover these spreads. Really annoying. Um,
They are a pain in the ass. Someone's making money betting on Jacksonville every week, and I just can't bring myself to do it.
yeah, I don't know that they are one of those Jekyll and Hyde ones where very good performance last week. This week, I think maybe that goes to the shitter. And the Vikings come in here and get this thing done. I think it's a lot of points. I'd have loved for you to pick this first. Actually, I should have just let you because I might just differ. I might just differ to be for the sake of it. I'm going to take the Vikings, the better defense and the better all-round football team here to get this job done in maybe a two-touchdown win.
Yeah, I think the Jags. I know the Eagles last week were lucky to get out alive there with a terrible throw at the end from Trevor Lawrence that was picked off. But um, I mean, I think the Eagles defense play too passive and they let the Jags back into that game. There was a um, a scoop and score for the Jags as well, which wasn't even a fumble because he was down by contact. Ridiculous that wasn't overruled on replay. All
Mm.
of that made that game a lot closer than it needed to be. And the Vikings play a very modern attacking style of defense, and I just think they could just absolutely suffocate the Jags here. They
Yeah,
haven't had too many answers on offense really this year, and I think the Vikings could really beat up on them. The Eagles moved the ball pretty much with impunity all game. They just shot themselves in the foot repeatedly, going for two all
yeah,
the time inexplicably. So I think the Jags could put up 30 here and restrict the Jags to less than 20, which is obviously a comfortable cover. So yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings too.
yeah. We should say I think Lawrence is questionable for this. I'm not sure he's going to play
Oh wow,
as well.
wow,
Yeah,
that's comfy then. That's comfy. No
yeah,
concern. This might be unfortunately this if this gets ugly, then I think as much as I love him, Dougie P might have hit the wall here. He might be
yeah.
taken out and stood up against a wall after this one.
Like
So
Shad Khan.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. You can tell I'm pretty confident, but I was last week and they covered against my Eagles, so we'll have to
Yeah,
wait. Um, God, that normally spells the end, doesn't it? When you go to your former team like Doug Peterson did last week and you lose in that fashion,
yeah. That was bad.
you tend to lose the locker room after things like that.
Mm.
Patriots at Bears. Again, we discussed this one. The Bears getting almost riding their preseason predictions deep into the regular season with a -6
Yeah.
line here. And I've just not seen anything other than beating up on two or three pretty abysmal teams, including Jacksonville at Wembley earlier in this Tottenham Hotspur Stadium earlier in the season. I just
Ooh,
haven't
and
seen.
the Panthers as well. It's a good point. Two of their
Yeah,
wins are against the Jaguars and Panthers. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know. Like the Shane Waldron experiment is only going to be a 1 year rental there. They haven't got the best out of Caleb Williams, and Drake May has looked better and better and better every time he's played. And the Patriots, I think they're doing, given the roster disparity they have against most people they play, I actually think they kind of reminded me of the Cardinals of last season, where they're quite plucky
Mm.
and they hang around and they make it uncomfortable. They've still got good players on defense, the Patriots, that could make it uncomfortable for Caleb Williams here. So I'm all of that is to say, obviously, I'm going to take the Patriots here on the road.
Yeah, no, 100% in agreement. Not much more to add on this one. I think that was a bit insulting to the Patriots and well, for them to snuff out that run game. And that's just Williams. trying to pass it, which probably won't bode well at this stage in his career.
Yeah, yeah. Change afoot there in Chicago, you would
Yeah.
suggest. Um, Tytoons head to Los Angeles.
No.
Um, two of the least rabid fan bases in the NFL here.
Oh, yeah. A
So
very
the
meek
line is
affair.
large, as we discussed pre-pod, at 7.5 to the Chargers. You better go first, and I think you know what I'm going to say. So you better rock and roll.
Yeah, well, the Chargers have been blowing teams out. They put up a lot of points on the Browns last week to cover that one. Is that I just saw it says tickets from $12. I think that's the lowest I've ever seen. I
I mean,
can't believe that.
honestly, flights to LA from London are actually not that bad. They're a lot cheaper than going to the East Coast or the Midwest. So I might hop on a flight for this one. Pick up a
My
12 pound.
goodness, that's got to be a record. Yeah, that says what kind of game this is going to be. Take the under on the points. The under was 39 on the points. The Chargers probably get this done 20-3. They're just a very well-oiled machine, the Chargers. Nothing explosive, as you'd expect. The Titans just really can't get out of their own way. So it's a team on the ascent against a team that's probably going to be looking for another rebuild, to be honest. Very, very poorly run franchise. So Chargers for me.
Yeah, I my instinct was to go with the Titans, but you successfully talked me out of that, which is why we just had to get on and do this pod straight away because we were starting to discuss these games in too much depth. And but you have swayed me. I agree. I think the Chargers, there's only one team in the NFL at the moment that really looks like a hardball football team, and it's not the Ravens, it's the Chargers. Very
Yeah,
fundamentally sound. They've opened up the passing game just a smidge, which is really helping Herbert. And yeah, as we've discussed previously, Titans defense is plucky. This could be 3-3 at the half, but then as you say, Chargers just pull away. So
yeah,
I'm going to come with you and take the Chargers here. You've got me on side.
nice.
Um, ooh, where am I? Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh,
The big
the
one.
big one.
The two biggest games of the season for the Eagles, obviously, are always against the Cowboys. Unfortunately, as is usually the case in recent years, Dak Prescott is not going to be available for this one. Um,
Mm,
so, as an Eagles fan, you always want to beat you want to beat Dallas, but you want to beat them at full strength, and they certainly aren't that with Cooper Rush starting quarterback. The Eagles coming in at 7.5 point favorite. I remember a couple of seasons ago, we played the Cowboys on the road in Dallas without when Prescott had broken his leg, and I think the Cowboys were like a 10 point underdog or something, and I took the Cowboys to cover, and we absolutely obliterated them. Um, Probably no AJ Brown in this one. Dallas Goedert is a maybe. Practiced a bit this week, but just give it to Saquon. I think he's in MVP form, and I think we'll give them a good throttling here. So I'm going to take the Eagles on this one.
yeah, all makes sense. I was going to side with you, but I like the line here for the home favorites in the divisional game, even with the backup QB. They've only got to lose by a touchdown, and I still get the cover. So I'm going to take Dallas. I think the rushing defense will be a concern, but history says you should take the home favorite in these home underdogs are in these divisional games. So going to base it off that. Although I do fully expect the Eagles win.
Oh goodness, that's the absolute minimum.
Yeah,
I'll be disconsolate if we can't win.
yeah,
If
yeah,
if Dak's playing, it's a really good football game, but he's not. So
yeah.
we should be no slip ups here for the Eagles. Um, Jets at Cards. The Cards are kind of they're kind of my the jewel in the crown for me this year. I've ridden them of
Yeah.
quite a few covers. The only time I didn't take them was this win in San Francisco.
Ah,
Really kicking myself for. They
I
are
think
a
I took them then. Weird.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you. That's right, you
Yeah.
did. Um, Bafflingly to me, they are a 1.5 point home underdog. It's you to go first, Tom, but I think I might have tilted this one.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. It is. I mean, no. Well, I was going to take him anyway. I can't bet on the New York Jets. It's just a it just seems like a disaster there. I don't really know who they are as a football team, but the Cardinals seem to have found this identity, offensively led, get James Conner going, and some interesting stuff for Kyler Murray, who's playing out of his mind. Marvin Harrison getting a bit more involved in recent weeks as well, which is good. And one of the best young tight ends, one of the best after catch tight ends I've seen in Trey McBride, actually. So they're putting together a nice team there. I'm gonna side with you, I think, here and take the Cardinals because you got to feel a bit hard done by there. They've got a winning record, yet they're underdogs at home. I don't agree with that at all. It's not right.
Yeah. No, no, I agree. I think besides injury, Saquon Barkley will be running back of the year minimum. But an honorable mention would have to go to James Conner. He's been absolutely
Mm.
sensational this season. And the Cardinals, it's a really interesting offense. There's elements of the old wing T out of the shotgun. I read there's a really good piece on the Athletic by Ted Nguyen talking about this in the week. They're
I
really
love it.
doing a versatile run game, stealing stuff from all over the NFL, and it's really got them going. It's powering this offense, and the Jets defense sort of has flattered to deceive. Normally quite a dominant unit, but they haven't been fantastic this year. And as you say, on offense, there's no identity at all. It's very reminiscent of Rodgers when he was calling his own plays in Green Bay before LaFleur got there, where it's a lot of go
Mm.
balls and slants to their receivers and not. It just doesn't feel like there's a lot of offensive structure there. So I can't really
Yeah,
take them with any confidence. So yeah, give me the Cards here once again.
nice.
You called this as the game of the week, and I would have to agree. Detroit head into the
Mm.
dome to play the Texans. Detroit making a big trade this week, picking up a defensive end to replace Hutchinson. Oh goodness, what name
The
escapes me?
Darius Smith from the
Yeah,
Browns. Yeah,
yes, yeah. So obviously Zadarius Smith is not the Zadarius Smith of 5 years ago, but he's still a threat. And really, the Lions are surging at the moment. They look fantastic.
yeah,
Imagine they'll be quite a handy favorite here. Yeah, 3.5 point home, sorry, road favorite. And normally that's meat and drink for me. I just would take the Texans here because I think they're a good football team. But that loss to the Jets last week has unnerved me slightly. Um, they're
yeah.
they didn't look. I watched the extended highlights of that just because that was such a baffling result. I just wanted to see what went wrong, and it all didn't look right for the Texans. I'm hoping for a bounce back for them this week because I'd like to see some fresh blood in the AFC. To be honest, no offense, Tom, I'd like to see someone challenge the Chiefs, but unfortunately, in this one, I'm actually going to side with the Lions here. They just look unbelievable at the moment. Jared Goff is probably going to be the MVP if he keeps playing like this. Even though I'd raise my hand for Saquon, but yeah, I'm going to take the Lions here.
Yeah, Texans on on both lines, they are pretty meek, and that doesn't bode well when you go up against the Lions, especially on the offensive side of the Texans. That line's
Oh,
very makeshift.
yeah, that's fair, but the defensive line for the Texans is excellent. The two
It's good, yeah,
defensive
but I
ends
mean the Lions might have the
league.
best offensive line in football.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I think that both of those things don't bode well for them. I was looking here, like since week three, the Lions have covered every spread, every single spread.
Wow.
So yeah, this is a band to ride, certainly. I'm going to ride them with you. I think the spread feels about right, but I can see this being a Detroit win here. Maybe like a fourth quarter rally or something. Should be a fun game though.
Yeah, we'll both be watching that eagerly, anticipating
Hmm.
that one. Um, Probably not as eagerly anticipating this next game, although I think it could be offensive fireworks here. These two guys, head coaches, obviously know each other very well from their time working together under Shanahan Jr. Dolphins go
Hmm.
to LA. LA hosting two games this week. So the floor is yours, Tom. Yes, the floor is yours
It's just
with the
a
Ram.
measly 1 point spread.
So it's a coin toss. It's pick a winner. What do you foresee here?
I'm gonna go with a Rams win. The Rams look one of the form teams to me in the NFL the past few weeks, and I expect that to continue at least kind of into late this month as they ride this momentum of having those offensive pieces back's really working well for them. And as we see there, Jared Verse coming along quite well. Wasn't too keen on him actually as a rookie. Thought he might take a bit longer to develop, but seems to be coming on nicely there. So I'm going to take the Rams to cover. The Dolphins, they certainly look better with Tua back. But I do worry with some of the characters on this Dolphins team if this losing record maybe gets their head down a bit and they just start to drop performance here. There's a concern with me, rightly or wrongly. So I'm just taking the Rams here to keep this trend going.
I'm interested by this Jimmy Garoppolo gets look as part of the headline. Oh dear, from the
No
rest
good.
of what does that mean? Is he starting for the Dolphins? Jimmy Garoppolo.
I'd
I didn't
have
even
to
know
have a
he
look.
was. I didn't even know he was on the Dolphins.
Must be a Ram, about a Ram story.
Or
Yeah, he plays for the Rams.
or is he playing this week? The headline
Oh, hold
seems to
on.
suggest he's playing. Is Stafford injured? I could see Stafford being injured. He's taken an absolute punishment this year.
No, no, he's not. No, he's perfectly healthy.
Very strong. I don't know what that means. Jimmy Garoppolo gets look. But anyway,
Uh,
I I'm going to side with the Rams here as well. I
hmm,
agree with you. It's a really interesting point you made that I think that these feel like the games the Rams always win. Their problem, the Rams, is they often, even in their Super Bowl year under McVay, they seem to really struggle in the NFC West. They get in a lot of
hmm,
battles with the 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Cardinals, and they've got all of them to come down the stretch. So a Rams team that's probably going to finish 10-7. They'll probably lose, they'll probably drop some divisional games, but I think they've got enough to beat the Dolphins here. So teams that don't see them
yeah,
a lot struggle to contain this offense. The Eagles have struggled with that offense in previous seasons. So I think the Rams take this one quite handily. Actually, I think 1 point's a bit. I feel a bit insulted by that if I was Matthew Stafford. So
yeah, I would,
yeah,
yeah.
I take the Rams here.
Yeah, nice. Well, you'd hope for some fireworks in this game. Let's see with the offensive display. But no, I agree. Nice, comfy cover here for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very
Right.
good.
Well,
That wraps it
we've
up.
wrapped it up in double quick time. Any particular college games you're looking out for this week as a parting shot, a bit of bonus content here?
Not particularly, actually. I don't know if you've perused the spread. I haven't really looked at the slate too much.
No,
Um,
fair enough. Well, we'll tuck
okay.
in and
Yeah.
we'll reconvene and discuss the NFL next week, Thomas.
Yes. Wonderful. Until then, go well.
Go well.